Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Jeff from BKJMAC TV, and this is the BKJMAC Podcast TV Experience coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Season 3, Episode 7. So let's get into it. Today's episode is we're going to review. It's been a while. BMF Season 2. Yes, BMF Season 2. We talked about the explosion of BMF Season 1 and how it set the trend. It was a 8-episode limited series. The show was created by 50 Cent, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who brought the show to stars, and now who's actually having regrets about it, and he has a deal with Fox. But anyway. So it's a show that was created by 50 Cent based on the real life characters Demetrius Flannery and his brother, and how they created the drug game back in the 1980s, a non-violent drug game. So this show explored the BMF television series explores the life of the Flannery brothers in old Detroit City in the 1980s. So let's get into it. This is coming from the Nocturnal website, and this article was written by Julian Cannon. Yes, Julian Cannon. Let's get into it. This week's BMF managed to resolve every story that was set at the start of season 1, while also making more intrigued for the next one. So basically, it answers a lot of the questions. But before I get into the big stories that were resolved, I have to bring up that Brian's son has been arrested and will most likely be charged for the murder. This is a rare occurrence in these days of television for young teenagers to be put in these situations. It is Detroit in the 1980s, so this topic like these could not be ignored. I do believe that this could be a vehicle to add more for Detective Brian's plot progression for the 3rd season. So, especially since the gun was B. Mickey's. So for anybody that hasn't been paying attention to BMF Season 2 or Season 1, Detective Brian is basically corrupt. He starts off as a corrupt detective, but eventually he's on the task force of trying to bring BMF down. And his son gets into a lot of issues at school with a school bully. And as we see through the episodes, because this season 2 has 10 episodes, Stars was able to give it 2 more additional episodes. We see the progression of how Detective Brian hasn't been a good father to his son, and his son really lacking that masculinity leadership in his life, because it was to the point where his son was so afraid and traumatized to report the bully that had been harassing him, that he ends up taking the gun. Okay, I'm going to give spoiler alerts here, who haven't even seen it yet. He takes out the gun and basically commits a violent act against his school bully, causing him to be arrested. And yeah, that's what he means, that he will be charged down the line, because the act was murder. And the gun that he used was B. Mickey. So B. Mickey is a drug dealer who works for BMF. And as you see throughout season 2, he is exposed as an undercover, as a confident informant. And because he's a confident informant, he tries to set up BMF with Detective Brian, but eventually he turns around and basically tells Meech and his brother that he's working as a undercover, and basically saves Big Meech from getting arrested the first time around by Detective Brian. As you'll see it in the episode as it goes in, without mentioning too much about the plot. The next part is the emotional scene of the episode goes to Goldie. Goldie was played by Monique Parker. Uh, um, Goldie, as she had to cut her sister's life support as her health was getting worse due to AIDS. Monique put on a great performance of good acting on the scene as it really stood out. Um, long story short, Monique's character Goldie gets into some serious drama, and now the wrong people are after her, and her sister is begging her, who's on life support, says, please cut it off and just go. And she's willing to basically sacrifice herself in order to protect her sister who's been taking care of her. So it's a sense of family in that scene. And the scene is very emotional because she's basically making the decision to take her sister, who she's been financing to keep her on life support, and now has to take her off. So that scene really plays out. So pay attention to that scene if you do watch season 2 of BMF. Also, it is over for Lucille and Charles as she is officially getting a divorce later. It was sad to see this happen, knowing the context here, as it was expanded from the BMF documentary that Starz released a few months ago. Another thing that was sad is Meech banning B. Mickey from ever rejoining BMF ever again. I honestly could not blame him for this decision. So basically, they get a divorce. Charles and Lucille, the parents of Big Meech, they get a divorce because of Charles's infidelities and not being faithful to his wife. So she finds out about it. She kicks him out. He tries to apologize, but things are not comfortable. And eventually they part their separate ways, but they're still friends in the relationship. B. Mickey, on the other hand, he's caught talking to some people, and his detective Brian is not giving up, and Big Meech people catches that from the side, all the way from the side, and decide that B. Mickey is not to be trusted anymore. And they basically, this is one of the reasons why they kick him out. You cannot trust someone who basically is slowly plotting behind your back. Meech is starting to humanize himself as he doesn't want to kill Lamar. Now, this thing with Lamar was crazy. Lamar kills Meech's baby mama and leaves the daughter motherless. And Meech, instead of just taking this guy out once and for all, basically tells the brother to give him a bunch of laced up coke crack. And basically Lamar goes crazy and they just leave him in an alleyway. You know, Terry is trying, and I don't know, I felt like they should have taken him out, but it is what it is in the series. I guess it wouldn't make sense because the actual Lamar is still out there, but I'm not sure if he really did kill Big Meech's baby mama. We don't know if that could be fictional or could that be real. We have no idea. Overall, season 2 of BMF is a drastic improvement over season 1. I think season 1, they were just trying to get it out there, trying to get their feet wet. It's never easy with season 1. Anything with a season 1 is never easy because you're just trying to get adjusted. You're trying to get acclimated out there. With season 2, it definitely was a lot smoother. The episodes went by a little quicker, faster, more fast-paced. I think everybody made fun of Young Miami because of her acting abilities. I think it was a scene when Big Meech and the Young Miami's character's husband got killed, and Big Meech had to go and tell her, and you didn't see the emotional response like a typical drama scene would have it. And a lot of people on social media trolled her about it, which I think was mean and just disrespectful. But then again, it just shows you a lot of people are just mean in general. So I think maybe she learned an opportunity from that, take acting classes, and just be better and come up with a more dramatic, more cohesive performance in the next one. because you can only get better. That's what it is in this industry. Anyhow, BMF season 2, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed season 1 a lot. You saw the progression of Big Meech and Terry. This one in season 2, you hear a lot of Terry's voice. In season 1, you heard a lot of Big Meech's voice. So in fact, they both, were just telling the story of how they came up from the drug game in Detroit, and eventually how they got taken down in 2005. We see that in the very first episode of season 2, the takedown, and then it goes back to the story. It goes back to the 80s, so, and into the 90s and stuff like that. So pay attention. It's a really good series. You see a lot of twists and turns. Overall, but it has a different feel to it. I wish 50 Cent was still working with Stars, but however, Stars did not want to pay him its true value. He's working at Fox. I don't know. I think they greenlit BMF season 3, but these 10 episodes, I'm telling you, they're frustrating too. They're frustrating because 10 episodes. Honestly, it's supposed to be 15 episodes. Can we get 15, 20 episodes? This whole 10 episode ordeal, it's annoying. It's a good series, and I want to see more episodes done by Stars. Definitely. So overall, definitely check out the series BMF. It's playing on Stars. It's definitely a good watch. It's a definitely amazing world that you'll see the grittiness of the 80s and the early 90s play out. How two young brothers are basically trying to make it on the top of the food chain by selling cocaine. Think about it. They're sellers. They're not buyers. They know who they're selling it to. They got buyers, they're sellers, and they're trying to reach the American dream because they know, like everybody else knows, that cash rules everything around them. And in order for them to stay on top, they gotta do what they had to do, and that's why BMF was created. So anyway, check it out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the BKJMAC podcast experience. Peace, love, always one.